Om Sadashiva-Samarambham Shankaracharya-Madhyamam Asmadacharya-Paryantam Vande Guru-Paramparam Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheswara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Sahana Bhavato Sahano Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahi Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mahavidvishavahi Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Two things we discussed, most important aspect, the Shraddha and Atmavada. Shraddha and the confidence, it should not fluctuate. So if the Shraddha or confidence are fluctuating, you know what is to be done. Better be watchful, be careful, in short. And of course we discussed the consequences of it, what will happen. The person will have all these developments. Verse number 17 and 18. Sangha yuktana. The person will get engaged with different types of people, objects, situations, to draw, to get, to gather some type of pleasure or satisfaction. And of course, second, also Avishwasina will not believe anybody. Always will have, suspicious of everything. Guru Puja Vihina means again not giving due respect to anybody, including the teacher. Means the person will take everything for granted. Then also we saw Bahu Sangina. So Bahu Sangina means the one who will be interested to socialize. So more interested in socialize than anything else, because there you are not being challenged. So your image is being protected, or you create a false image. That's another thing altogether. Then comes Mithya Badaratana. So always being engaged in different type of discussions, in short called gossip. So the person keeps gossiping. And of course when you keep gossiping, complaining, both gossiping and complaining. I am changing it today. Yesterday was little different. Today I have to change it little bit, because I cannot repeat the same thing, okay? Gossip and complain. Then comes Nishtura Bhashina, very harsh in talking, means does not care about other situation, other person's let us say mental agony, or never tries to understand other. Always me and me, my standpoint first, it is to be addressed, everybody must listen, blah blah blah. We have seen in details. And finally, Guru Santosha Vihinana. Of course, the person is neither connected to the teacher nor connected to the teaching. So that is called Guru Santosha Vihinanam. Just because I am changing, I am trying to tell the little different aspect, because we have discussed in details, that's why. So these are the things happens. Okay, I understand. Then what is going to happen? That also we have seen. Verse number 19 and 20, I think we have seen. I think so. Okay, fantastic. So what happens? Then he says, okay, this is the negative part, or you can say if you don't do, then what happens? Then he says, there is a step. There are 6 things happens. The first one, he says, Phalishyati Vishwasa. So the first development happens that you start developing faith in each and everything. Means always you give benefit of doubt to everybody. I may be wrong. That person may be right. Who knows? So when you give benefit of doubt to others, do you know, you reduce 50% of the turmoil in you. Just giving benefit of doubt to others. Or else what will happen is, you will discover half of your work, or you can see your work, whatever you see. When you do not give benefit of doubt to person in the beginning, you unnecessarily go crazy and makes everybody crazy. And at the end of the day you discover, then you start looking down yourself, lot of issues happen. So that's why, first giving benefit of doubt. This is called, developing faith. Whatever situation may be. That's why always I say, try to see everything as though you are seeing for the first time. Long back I have talked in different classes. In fact, you'll be seeing, I was enjoying today as I was translating, I went back to my old timings. I think without knowing this text I have practiced. Today I discovered. So one elderly person actually who guided me to do all these things. I really remember, I was remembering him today. So that means he had access to this text. So he told me few things to do. I was doing it. Now I am seeing that is matching this text properly. However, so I have many times pointed out this point, that try to see everybody as though you are seeing for the first time. In fact, I always work on this. Always I try to see all of you as though I am seeing you for the first time. So when you start seeing others for the first time, you cannot become a judgmental. Impossible. Of course, if you discover the person is same stupid, then of course your impression will take you back. Then you try to draw or try to handle the situation the way it is supposed to be. But whereas if you see a person with already a concluding mind, with a conclusive idea, that means what? That is not healthy either. That's why here he says that you need to really look at very carefully how you look at. That's why this point is what? Vishwasa, then comes Shraddha. Giving benefit of doubt, that will lead to Shraddha. If you discover the person is good, situation is good, you started trusting, and that keeps increasing and improving. Then after Shraddha comes Guru Pujanam, giving due respect, starting with the teacher. To everybody, accepting others in your life. Accepting teacher in your life, accepting others in your life. Because you always expect everybody must accept you, but you don't want to accept anybody. How is it possible? First, you accept others and accommodate others. If you accept and accommodate others, you will discover others also will start reciprocating. They will accept or not, I don't know. At least they will try to reciprocate. Or at least you will create some space in them. Creating a space in somebody's mind plays most important aspect in life. Creating some space in somebody's mind is not a joke. Closing somebody's mind takes for a second. If I scold you all without any reason, without care and concern, I will close all of your mind. It takes a few minutes. Whereas to create some space in you for me, how long I have to work? That's why here accepting others is the first stage. Accepting first teacher and teaching and others in your life. And of course, Chaturtham Samata Bhav. Then comes equanimity. Means the ups and downs, the graph of x and y axis, good and bad, is not that bad looking. Not mountains and valley, mountains and valley, mountains and valley. You understand? Jum, 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 jum. The graph should not be that. So graph should be very lenient, okay? Okay, little bit here and there is allowed, okay? Little bit, not much. That's why that has to be really worked on all the time. Then comes Panchame in the fifth, Indriya Nigraham. Not engaging, automatically it will happen. Not engaging, not allowing sense organs to experience unnecessarily. Let us say, not feeding fuel to your mind. Very simple. Then, of course, then comes Pramitahara. Moderate eating. In fact, comes Yuktahara Viharasya. It comes in Bhagavad Gita. Yuktahara Viharasya. All these things comes because everywhere it has to be moderate. You cannot, okay, eat the way you want. Of course, we'll be talking in details later on, all other things. So that means, in short, moderate in eating. Okay? And 7 doesn't exist. Let us read. Next verse. Yogo padesam samprapya labdhva yoga vidam gurum guru padishta vidhina dhiya nischitya sadhaye yogo padesam samprapya labdhva yoga vidam gurum guru padishta vidhina dhiya nischitya sadhaye. Very nicely. Now he says that yoga padesham samprapya. So you need to receive instructions properly related to yoga. And of course, from whom? Not from book, not from YouTube, not from even if Zoom. We have to add, okay, earlier it was YouTube, now we have to add Zoom, social media and whatnot. But from the Guru, that too, who is Yoga Vidam, who knows what is yoga. Not who pretends or he says that everybody, in the world, everybody is yogi. And sometimes, people also give certificate whether you are yogi or not. Because once I got one certificate. I thought this yogi can get up at 3 o'clock. I cannot forget, okay? I thought that a yogi can get up at 3 o'clock and catch a flight. What? Yogi doesn't have anything to do or what? Running behind, if I am yogi, why should I run behind a flight? Let the flight run behind me. You understand? Why should I run behind flight? Is it necessary? Anyway, joke apart, because this is very good. Whenever this yogi concept comes, automatically that thought comes, which is very entertaining for me. Don't worry. However, so getting instruction, receiving instruction, that too, please understand, beautifully says, Guru Padishta Vidhina. There is a vidhi, there is a procedure, which I have not translated properly. There is a vidhi, there is a procedure. It is not that the way you want, you understand? Because for the teaching, there has to be a procedure. Without procedure, especially this teaching will not work at all. That's why approaching a teacher in a proper way. That's why in qualification of the student comes how the student should approach a teacher. And of course, there is a way of, like for example, teacher is walking, all these Jain people they do, okay? This is called Jain gurus. So in the garden, okay, will you please teach me this thing? So the teacher will say something, hold on to that for years. Okay, then you say, I am realized. What did you realize? Realize nothing. All these Jain stories, if you see, very fascinating, very inspiring. But in reality, what is there? While walking, while talking, and of course I see in many places, one word, said I am holding on to and I realized. How do you know you realized? Or you realize how stupid you are? You don't want to share with anybody. How? So then what happens? Once it is there, then whatever has been taught or whatever instruction has been given by your teacher, let the person practice with seriousness and of course keeping the faith. And in fact, the student doesn't have much choice here to alter or to change. That's why in India, most of the practice method are different, which you cannot really challenge. And you don't have to challenge either. But if you observe as it happens, things leads to a beautiful point. But problem, what happens, two ways it happens. Either the person has picked up from the teacher from a distance and did something, by God's grace came out and tried to teach. That's why there is a problem. Or there is a different system altogether. But however we say here, so whatever ways has been taught, please do that. Nothing will happen. Nothing will go wrong. Because when you have faith, even if the teacher is wrong or teaching is wrong, both. Even if the teacher is wrong or the methodology of teaching is wrong or inadequate instead of wrong, inadequate, don't worry. God will be there to take care of you. God has to come forward to help you, sending a teacher, or God himself has to be a teacher. This is the system, it works very well. Especially I have seen when a seeker or when a practitioner keeps practicing and gets diverted, really feels completely helpless, in spite of putting all sort of effort and everything, lot of miracle happens. The God in different form comes to rescue that sadhaka. There are many cases. As you start practicing, you will see that is how, without your knowledge, the sadhaka have darshan of the God, start seeing the God. That gives a strength entirely, and is a different subject altogether. That's why you don't have to worry. Okay, I understand. Then what to do? Now comes Susobhane Mathe Yogi Padmasana Samannita Asano Parisamvishya Pavanabhyasamachare. Susobhane Mathe Yogi Padmasana Samannita Asano Parisamvishya Pavanabhyasamachare. Beautifully goes. Because you cannot practice wherever you want. On the roadside, in the office. Let us, go for a trip and practice. Especially all these yoga people, okay? They make a trip and let us go for a practice. Please understand, it's called entertainment, it's not a practice. Good. If you know that you are going for entertainment or entertaining, absolutely no problem. But that is not really practice. And this entertainment will not work in the long run. That's another thing. I am not criticizing anybody. Please understand. Try to understand the situation. What does it mean? Because all these things also in Bhagavad Gita it has been talked in details. So here, because I hope you remember, recollect, we have discussed in details. He says, first thing what happens, the person before practicing, he gives a very solid point. He says, Susobhane mathe yogi. It has to be practiced in a mat. So mat means an institution where everything is being taken care. Especially we can say Hindu monastery. That is called mat here. So that means, that's why I put it very carefully, a place which is vibrant at the same time beautiful. Means in a mat, you don't feel challenged, nor you will get opportunity to challenge anybody. The ambience is being created in such a way that automatically your mind calms down. So that means there is purity, external purity, and also the air is clean in the sense that astral cleanness is there. That is the most important aspect. Or else if the astral cleanness is not there, this yoga practice will not work. In fact, it will create a lot of issues. That's another point. Let me not get into that method at all. So that's why at the same time it should be beautiful. The reason is why the moment you close your eyes, your mind should not get carried out with anything. There should not be any uncertainty. There should not be any pressure in you anyway. That's why always I say, when you are in the class, be in the class. World is not going to collapse. I know difficult every day 1 hour for all of you, or at least some of you. But remember, if you spare 1 hour in the class, rest, let us say, out of 12 hours, if you are awake, let us say 12 to 16 hours awake, that 15 hours you will discover, let us say 11 to 15 hours, you will do really best, your best. The difference you can see, you can feel for yourself. Because this is the time you can spend for yourself to handle, to look at your mind carefully. No excuse at all. Let the whole world collapse. Nothing will collapse, okay? Only you will collapse. In fact, world will continue better, in a better way. If you collapse, I'll tell you, if you collapse, everybody will celebrate. And poor fellow, or failing, you, if you are a man fellow, if you are a lady failing, you'll start watching from Vishnu, say, look, all are celebrating my death without you. I'm not telling you jokes, it's a very pathetic situation. Anyway, joke apart, coming back. So, finding out a place where you are not being challenged and you are physically, mentally and astrally comfortable. And we have discussed a lot, I don't want to talk. That's why it gives the clue, Susobhane mathe. Suppose astrally clean but not beautiful. That is not also good. Because there are many factors you need to look at. Then what happens? The person is supposed to be seated in Padmasana. Padmasana Samannita, lotus posture. So why Padmasana? Not any other asana. There are, we say Sukhasana and other things. But we give more preference to Padmasana. Please refer Padmasana. I don't want to get into it because there is another chapter, it goes on and on. Why we go for Padmasana? What are the benefits in Padmasana? So refer our book at least quickly. And moreover, what happens? Moment you start sitting in a Padmasana, the immediate impact is the laziness will not be there. The direct malam, we say, outside, external malam, that external impurity, or you can say the sluggishness of mind, laziness of the mind will go away then and there. In fact, putting Padmasana is a little difficult to sleep. But I had seen one boy. He used to put Padmasana and sleep. There are some people, they have practiced. And I remember just making a joke, really. There was a boy who was well trained to sleep. Because he doesn't study. And the way he was he trained himself to sleep, you cannot believe it. So they kept one tuition master. So to teach him, one master for one. So the master will be sitting, this fellow will be studying. Then looking at the book and his hand will be moving, line by line, line by line. So definitely the person will think what? Studying. Perfect line by line, hand is moving. But the fellow is sleeping. I was shocked to see that fellow. I said, how do you manage? He said, I have practiced. When I get some time, because I want to sleep, my tuition master has come. They are cornering me, but I have to sleep. So I practiced line by line while sleeping. So people have that much talent, don't worry. So he says, so putting Padmasana, generally what happens, also we make sure create our asana, means our place where to sit. So it should not be ucham nicham. It should not be too high, too low. It should be balanced. Also we put different things. Not old cloth. Especially not cushion, strictly. No cushion. Because every yoga fellow starts with cushion, okay? They need some back support. It's all the wrong thing. Because that absorbs a lot of negativity, the cotton. So here we use very safest ways, grass called kusa grass, which is very pure, which actually improves the sattvic aspects in you. And of course we use different type of skin, remember. And when we use the skin, whether it's a deer skin, tiger skin, we have for different purpose, different skin. And it has a purpose. It should not be killed, remember. Those days, let us say, people, especially Adivasis, all these tribal people, whichever animal dies naturally, a deer dies naturally, that deer skin they keep it aside and they preserve it. Whenever a Swami or Sadhu passes by, they hand over that only to Sadhu, not anybody. To make sure that the skin that is being used must not be killed. The animal must not be killed. It's a natural death. So a lot of things are there. Let me not get into. So that's why make sure that your asana is being done properly. Then only after that, practicing breathing exercise. So that means before doing breathing exercise, there are many things you have to look at. Not the way you want to get up. You understand? I remember, I can tell you one beautiful story. All these things we have gone through, okay? There was one person. When we were studying, he used to come to the class he will get up late. And you can see the fellows, marks are there, okay, sleeping marks, like that pie means that grass thing. So mark will be there, okay. But what he will do, take a bucket of water or shower or whatever, whether it is completely taken shower or not, God only knows, but puts the dhoti, nicely, vibhuti, and you can see the fellow just has got up maybe 5 minutes before. You can make out very clearly. And sometimes, interestingly, water, because he has come out of the shower, water will be falling, okay, from the head. Anyway, we had different things, but it was really nice. Okay, you say, oh, when did you get up? So I think you got up just 5 hours before. Yeah. 10 hours before. Means 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Oh. So, what I am trying to highlight here is, to practice this, physically, mentally, you have to prepare yourself. That hurry-burry will not work here. You can see for yourself, when you are coming to the class with a hurry mind, matter of 1 minute or 2 minutes hurry, you can see in the class you are restless. Just observe this point. Whereas when you are mentally prepared for the class, the stability in you is entirely different. Same thing is applicable for your practice. Okay? Now let me go to next, or else I'll take long time. Samakaya pranjalisya pranamyacha gurun sudhim dakshe bhame cha vignesham kshatrapalambikam punaham samakaya pranjalisya pranamyacha gurun sudhim dakshe bhame cha vignesham kshatrapalambikam punaham. This comes to the attitude part. That's why when somebody says yoga is free from religion, including one of our persons said, which is ridiculous. One of minister said that yoga is beyond religion. Hey, please don't destroy our culture. You may be a great person in India. Yoga cannot be beyond religion. It's not acceptable. Whether you like it or not, yoga means God has to be there. Without God, there is no yoga, or else it becomes Sankhya. One has to understand very carefully. The Sankhya philosophy and yoga philosophy became different. Because unless there was no need of yoga philosophy. But what people do, they want to hold on to Sankhya, taking the benefit of yoga. That's why all these yoga people are confused because of this reason. And I am not telling you jokes. Any yoga person without bringing God in life will have a miserable life. Completely confused. It is not acceptable. Person cannot achieve anything in life except confusion. You bring anybody, I can just seeing the person, I can tell you, you can visualize yourself and others in your circle. It doesn't work. That's why I say here, first, samakaya, sometimes griva comes. So first thing is what? Making the body firm, means your spine straight. That means you should be a very stable person. Not, moving and the way you want, okay? Being restless. Moving means what? Restless. And what happens? Then bringing both the palm together. That's called, first thing comes in yoga practice. How you make yourself available. Because you do not know what you are going to practice. Number one. Number two, what are the things you are going to come across you do not know? It's an entirely different world altogether. Just observe. A person who is diving into the sea, deep sea, who has to go, God knows how many meters, not kilometers, meters, maybe 400, 500 meters. Before diving into the sea, the person does prayer. In whichever way. Some type of togetherness, some type of prayer has to be there and will be there. I have seen few people when they dive into, they do pray. Makes no difference which religion you are. Because the person is going to explore a new area altogether where nobody is there, maybe alone. Please understand. And when you are practicing yoga, completely you are alone, nobody is there. And you are going to explore your thing. God knows what are the things you have in you. You yourself do not know. That's why you are running away from yourself. At least for that sake, pray. Without praying, please understand, without bringing in the God before practicing, practice will not work. Definitely, I can write it down. The practice will drop. Some way or other, you will not be able to practice. Impossible. Or practice will be superficial, like going to the gym. People also till death they go to the gym. No, maintaining the body. Fantastic. But that's not the purpose here. We are not talking to maintain your body. You don't have to waste your time for the yoga. We are not talking that either here. That's why it says, then bringing both the palms, pranamya, means making available yourself for the practice, and what it says, first doing pranam to the guru. Teacher and teaching tradition, both. Guru in plural. Teacher and teaching tradition, because only teacher means then there will be doubt. Did I do right or wrong? Whether that he taught me rightly or wrong. When you bring the teaching tradition, automatically your faith strengthens. Then after that what happens? Such beautifully says, Dakshe Vamecha Vignesha Kshetrapalikam Ambikam Punah. So three things we do it. This is the ritualistic portion. So we say beautifully that first, after teacher, Lord Ganesha, who is Vigna Harta, who is the remover of obstacles. Sometimes we say Vigna Kartascha, who creates also obstacle. Not only Vigna Harta, also Vigna Karta, remover and creator. So, first prayer to Lord Ganesha on right side. And of course these are the things. Then we go to do the prayer. This Kshetrapala means for each place there is a presiding deity. For each location there is a presiding deity. For village there is a village deity. For a place presiding deity, we may or may not know. So always we take care of them first. Because they will influence a lot. They will help a lot. So after doing namaskaram to them, Kshetrapal, whether one or many makes no difference. Then after that comes Ambikam Punaha, again to the mother. So these are the things to be done first. To make sure that you are a stable person. To make sure there is emotional stability. Because this is this is Srividya concept here is being completely reflected here. This is the Srividya practice actually. That's why all this concept comes very nicely and carefully. To make sure that there is less trouble, less problem with you. The obstacles have to be minimized. So these are the things have been taken care. Let us look at the next verse. Then what is to be done? Then only starts. Tatascha dasangusthena niruddhya pingalam sudhim idya purayed vayum yatha shaktya tu kumbhayet tatastyakva pingalaya sanireva navegatah tatascha dasangusthena niruddhya pingalam sudhim idaya purayet vayum yatha shaktya tu kumbhaye tatastyakva pingalaya sanireva navegatah. It is our Nadi Shuddhi in short. Says beautifully, the Shuddhi, the one who is able to manage one's own Dhi Buddhi, that person, I put it, well behaved practitioner. What has to do? So close the right thumb, close the right nostril with right thumb, then inhale through your left nostril, then retain as long as possible. This is the beautiful point here comes. There is no count. Retain as long as possible. So I must have told many times, retain as long as possible. In the beginning we make it count 1:4:2. But as you keep practicing, 1:4:2 is not required at all. So it is more focusing on retention. And interestingly, that's why he says beautifully that kumbhayet. So kumbhayet means it is like a pot. Kumbha means a pot. A kalasham also is called kumbha. So if you look at kalasham, the more water stays on the bottom, means that particular length. So that means the air has to be retained on your stomach region, not on your chest or neck. So the trick of Kumbhaka means you have to learn to retain on your abdomen, possible lower abdomen. How this kalasam or the kumbha is a flat. Kumbha is not like this, okay? Not like a balloon, okay? Straight, then nicely, then comes. Just to see the kumbha, kalasam. Same thing, the air has to be retained. Here technical point says beautifully, I was looking at, which I had done, that's why I could make out. We interpret this 10 angulars. I think we have discussed in Yoga Chudamani Upanishad, if I am right. We have discussed in different times, different type of breathing comes. The length of breathing. When it's 10 angulum, when it's 12 angulum, 16 angulum, 20 angulum, all these things, okay? Like. So here we do that. Make sure that means when it's 10 angulum, that means your breathing should not be that fast. That is a measurement. So that means when you exhale, you cannot exhale like, in fact that sound should not come. Because the moment this sound comes, that means what? The breathing length is not 10 angulum, exhale length is not 10 angulum, it may go out up to 15 or 20 angulum. Can you make out? Angulum means digit, okay, this much. This is called angulum. Digit. So, if you breathe little loudly or forcefully, definitely it will go more than 10 digit. So make sure that your breathing is less. This is the trick. Because in practice, Puraka or Rechak. I hope you understand Puraka and Rechak, okay? Puraka means inhalation. Rechaka means exhalation. Kumbhaka means retention. So Puraka and Rechaka are not important. We never give importance to Puraka and Rechaka. Always our focus is on Kumbhaka. So in order to make the Kumbhaka longer, we reduce Puraka, inhalation. If you inhale less, you will be able to retain longer. That trick you need to pick up. Unless and until you pick up that trick, actually you will not enjoy this Nadi Shuddhi. This is the trick here. Let us look at the next verse, okay? Punah pingalaya purya yatha shaktya tu kumbhayet idyare chayet vayum idayare chayet vayum navegena sani shanai. Good. Now I started sweating today. Very good. So, sorry. Again, what you need to do? One side as you did, starting with left, hold, and exhale. Again, opposite way. Draw through the right nostril, and again retain as long as possible, Kumbhayat. Then exhale through Ida. And remember, there is no hurry. You cannot speed up. That's why, in order to not to speed up, we make sure we count while exhaling time. Our focus will be on that the breathing should not go more than 10 angulars, 10 digit. The exhalation, the throwing air, should not be more than 10 digit. You understand? You are finished. So also when you are inhaling, not allowed. It will not work. Because when you inhale, again you pull air from more than 10 digit. So that's why what we do is we divert in such a way. So more focusing on less inhalation and less exhalation, so that the retention increases. Let us. Idam yoga vidhanena kuriyat vinsati kumbhakan sarvadvanda vinirmuktaha pratyaham vigatalasah. Idam yoga vidhanena kuriyat vinsati kumbhakan sarvadvanda vinirmuktaha pratyaham vigatalasah. Very nice. Now, according to this method of yoga, yoga vidhanena, because it differs, that means there are different methods. In Yoga Chudamani, we had seen different numbers. Here the number differs. That's why each place is little bit difference is there. So according to this method of yoga over here, Gerana Samhita will talk little differently. Each one talks a little bit differently here and there. Now let one practice 20 kumbhakas, 20 retentions. So that means if 20 retentions, 10 rounds. If you look at, like for example, in Yoga Chudamani Upanishad, we had seen 12 rounds. So here it says 20 kumbhakams to be done, and of course the person has to do how? Pratyaham every day. without any excuse, without any fear. Because once you have some laziness or excuse comes, mind is so smart. One day you give some excuse, next day you cannot. And I will tell you openly, once the malam increases, you cannot practice Nadi Shuddhi properly. Once your negativity increases, you cannot practice Nadi Shuddhi. Mind will not allow. And imagine, in spite of practicing still if it is there, that means if you don't practice, what will be your situation? It is like, suppose you have a house near the road, that to Indian house, or Indian road, not your country. Every hour, especially in Chennai, I am trying to tell you, every hour you have to clean. If you don't clean, a thick layer of dust, fine dust. If you don't clean for one day, you are finished. Because there is a fine dust plenty available. Because that is the location. So also when you are exposed to different people, different things, different ways, now you have better responsibility to practice without any fear. You cannot give any excuse. You cannot say my work is there, this is there, that is there. Please, God's sake, time will come, nothing is going to be helpful. So don't give any excuse. And if you give any excuse, please understand, definitely you are trying to strengthen your mind. And you know better, when you strengthen your mind, what hell you create for yourself. That's why it says beautifully, that person when does practice every day, without any laziness, without any excuse, sarvadvanda vinirmuktaha, the person becomes free from all pairs of opposites, like such as love, hatred, heat, cold, all these things. Means the person is not carried away. The person is not affected. The person is not disturbed with reference to any given situation that comes in front. This is the clue. Because if you don't spend this much time, then what happens? How much time you spend doing and undoing? Whole life, what you do? Tell me. Be honest. Just look at whole day. Today till now. How many things you have done? How much time you have spent in doing, and how much time you have spent in undoing? In fact, what you call as doing, I call it as undoing. Whole life you are undoing and undoing. And you call that, oh, I am doing, I am engaged, please. So try to understand this point very carefully. So be free from pairs of opposite means don't get affected, don't get carried away with the situation. Okay, next verse. When to do, how to do. With this we'll stop. प्रातः काले च मध्याह्ने सूर्यास्ते चार्धरात्रके कुर्याद् एवं चतुर्वारं काले श्वेतेषु कुंभकान्. प्रातः काले च मध्याह्ने सूर्यास्ते चार्धरात्रके कुर्याद् एवं चतुर्वारं काले श्वेतेषु कुंभकान्. Such a really nicely being taught here. 4 times you have to do. There is no choice. So what are indirectly says 4 Sandhya time. So we have 4 meeting points. Night becomes day. What we call dawn. Forenoon becomes afternoon. Madhyana, midday. Day becomes night, evening. And the 4th one is night 12 o'clock, midnight. So these are the meeting points. So that means it is exactly like you have a fever and you have to take paracetamol every 6 hours. Can you see this point? You have continuous fever, that is called bhavajwara. We say this is called bhavajwara. The jwara means the fever related to the samsara. The sense of becoming. Sense of becoming is a fever, you can say. So to suppress this fever, to manage this fever, every 6 hours you need to take paracetamol. And here the paracetamol is pranayama. So all the meeting points, Sandhya Kalam, morning, midday, evening and midnight. Interestingly, what happens, I'll tell you. During Sandhya Kalam, automatically without your knowledge, the breathing flows in both the nostrils. Mind automatically is calm. There is a natural atmosphere. Mind, without your knowledge, if you put little bit practice or put effort to do something, that actually gives you more benefit. Whereas in other time, you have to put a lot of effort to tune yourself with the nature. You can say, Swamiji, we all are Suryavanshi. Why are you talking all these things? Suryavanshi means we only get up after sun is in the midway. We are not Chandravanshi, okay? Chandravanshi means moon, okay? Before sunrise, we have never seen moon, okay? So please, when we are Suryavanshi, we only get up when sun is in the midway. Please don't talk all these things to us. And whenever I remember one fellow, I said, when do you do Sandhya? He said, whenever I get up, that is my Sandhya Kalam. I have seen different type of people, okay? Whenever I get up, that is my Sandhya Kalam. I said, yes, you and yourself, really great idea. And yes, because those days people didn't have the justification. Those days people don't have anything, no light, no entertainment, nothing. They used to go to bed by 8 to maximum 9 o'clock. Then by 4 o'clock they used to get up. Because long time they cannot sleep. So what to do? Then they created this is called Sandhya Kalam. Now we are going to bed late. We have all things. So when we get up, that time becomes Sandhya Kalam. I said, wow, what a logic. You should listen to our guys, okay? And especially our guys, one guy is here, so I should not tell. One guy is here means, especially our Chennai guys. Okay, one good thing about Gautam doesn't do that. So that's a disclaimer I am putting it. Once our Chennai guys goes to America, completely behave differently. Correct or not, Gautam? Everybody knows, okay? But when they come back from America, you should see all sort of acharam, the way they will talk, the way they will dress, everything, going to all temples as though they are 100% not religious, spiritual, okay? Anyway, joke apart. So, when you do this thing, then what is to be done? What will happen? They talk the benefits, which already I have said in the translation. I know you must have gone through already, because curious mind cannot keep quiet, and nothing wrong in it. Because you need to continue this thing for at least 3 months. Oh, already time is up. More of it we'll see tomorrow. Please close your eyes. Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.